Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the fourth update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows 2022 series. This project was created a long time ago by Alexi, and you can always find her in my description box. Last month I did switch things up just a tiny bit, and I am now working on 5 shades instead of 6, 4 of which are randomized from my entire eyeshadow collection, and 1 comes from my 2 focus palettes. Like I randomize 1 shade between the 2 palettes because I want to hit lots of pans this year. I hope to hit 22 eyeshadow pans this year. Not doing great so far. What are my other rules? I don't want to work on a black, and I can roll it out after 20 uses or hitting pan. And if it is a palette I have never touched before, I want to use that entire palette 10 times. Because I don't want to take a brand new palette that I've never used before and just touch 1 shade in it repeatedly. So those are my rules. I need to quickly hurry this up. Apparently Emmett is waking up. Here is the color story I have been working on over the last month. I always go in the order of the eyeshadow I have been working on the longest, and for me that is from BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette. I'm working on the 22nd shade, which is a green. I am wearing all of the shades except for the ones I met my goal on today. I used this shade 5 times this month for a total of 12 uses. The dip in here is getting very large. I think I'm very close to pan, but otherwise I can roll it out in 8 more uses. I do like working on this palette. It just appears in this project so often because there's so many shades within one palette, if that makes sense. But it's a very beginner friendly, buildable rainbow palette. Like, no, it's not the most stunning formula, but it works just fine. I have been enjoying playing with like this warm grassy green. I'm very excited to see that dip forming. I'm happy with my progress, happy with the 5 uses for the month. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. So at my last update, my pan percentage was 1.89%, and today my pan percentage is 1.98%, almost at 2%. Woo! From my focus palette, I got a shade out of my Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette, and it was the 2nd eyelid shade, the green. I used this 4 times this past month, and I successfully hit pan on this, and that is a good size pan. I used this shade 7 times in total in this project. That was mostly all over the lid. These pans are very shallow, at least in this palette. The Walking on Eggshells trio I used like 75 times before hitting pan. I used the palette as a whole 75 times. So I would think they would have the same pan size in them, but I'm not really sure what the difference is. No idea, but it took me 7 uses, and I'm happy to have another pan in my collection. So I have hit 4 pans so far this year. Not doing great, but these 2 are my oldest palettes, so I will be randomizing a shade from these 2 to replace this. Most likely we'll still be working on the Comfort Zone, but that is fine. I'm happy to have a successful pan. Next, the palette I was focusing on most this month. This is the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette. I rolled in the shade Spirited, which is a super shock. I used this shade 12 times this past month for a total of 14 uses and no pan. The dip is there, but I feel like my pan isn't that deep. I mean, it looks kind of deep on my monitor. It's also stained a little green because I put it over top of the green shade today. The pan is mostly, or like the dip, sorry, is mostly wide and not going down. I typically use this with my finger, so that's probably why, but no pan yet. I've used this a total of 14 times, like I said, so 6 more uses and I'm allowed to roll it out. Though I really did hope to hit pan in this, as it is a super shock formula, but the ColourPop pans are deep. I thought it would be much easier than this. Last month I rolled in a single from Coastal Scents. I rolled in the shade Deep Merlot. I used this 3 times. I have it on as liner today. There's not really a ton. Wow, an eyeshadow just flung right out of there. That is super weird. Okay, it's like the magnet wasn't working in here anymore. That's very strange. Anyways, you can at least now tell, I'm losing my voice, that I have used it, but again, only 3 times in this project. I've maybe used it once before that, maybe not even. I don't know why. So when I made my Coastal Scents order, this was many years ago, the shades looked different online than they were when I got them, because like these 2 shades are very similar. I wouldn't have bought them in the same order, and then this one, and this one are very similar as well. So you can see I have a dip in this one, but I don't think I've used that one. Anyways, 3 uses, still have a long way to go on this. And lastly, for my Sephora Pro Warm palette, I'm working on the shade Sandstone. I also rolled this in last month. It's in my crease today. It is a fun orange. Sandstone is right here on the end. And you can see a disturbance in this pan once again, but no dip. I've used this 4 times this past month. This will be a 20 uses and then roll out shade. I used this one 30 times and this one 30 times within this project, you know, various years, and there's hardly a dent in either of them. There is so much product in here and they're very densely packed, very pigmented. I love working on this palette, and this orange is really fun for spring and summer, so I'm very happy to be working on this. Not the best update. I did roll in 2 shades last month, and we will be rolling in 1 this month. Okay, I'm back and out of breath. I ran upstairs to turn the furnace off. Okay, I have in the numbers 1 to 8 in my Pretty Random app. We have 1 shade left in the Walking on Eggshells trio to hit pan on, and 7 pans left in my Comfort Zone to hit pan on. So let's see what we get. We get number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the first crease shade. Alright, so this new shade is a very beautiful bronze kind of shade. I actually think it will pair really well with my Sephora Pro Warm palette. I am not mad at that at all. And again, while the green was the most used shade in this palette for me from previous usage, I don't think many of the other shades have been used that much, but the green did only take 7 uses, so maybe 10 to 15 uses to hit pan on this new shade. And this is what my color story is looking like. Kind of a mismatched situation. I don't know. The ColourPop Spirited has kind of a green tinge to it because again, the pan is a bit stained from putting it over the green today. I don't really feel like this is the most cohesive, but that's what we're working with. I will pop in a closer picture for you. Goals for next month. I think we'll have a really good update next month. So even if there are no pans, these 2 should be ruling out because I need only 8 more uses on the BH Cosmetics green shade, but I honestly think if I wore it similar today, like all over the lid and on the lower lash line, I could probably hit pan in it before then. These pans are very shallow, and like I said, there is a significant dip in there. And then the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette, I've really enjoyed just reaching for this as a whole, but I have used it 14 times already, so only 6 more uses and I'm allowed to roll it out. And I mean, the dip isn't as big as I would hope for it to be after 14 uses. What is happening? My beauty space is in the basement, so there's all kinds of strange noises. But I believe that this will be rolling out next month no matter what. I mean, the dip looks huge on my monitor, but I swear looking at it in person, it does not look that impressive. So that is everything for today's pan. That is everything for today's Pan Those Eyeshadows update. This was really short for me. I'm happy that I got through it pretty quickly. Except for, what the heck is that noise, you guys? Let me know of any color pairing suggestions you have for me. Obviously, I feel like the neutrals can work together, but sometimes it's fun to just think outside the box and pair them in different ways. So if you have any ideas, then do let me know. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!